90% of sales professionals book close to 0 meetings from cold calling. I have personally made over 10,000 cold calls in my career, and I have booked over 8 million in qualified pipeline just from cold calling. B2B sales has changed a lot over the last 5 years, but the one thing that has remained constant is that cold calling is still the fastest way to book a meeting with a qualified decision maker. And in this video, I'm going to give you my top 8 tips that you can implement today in order to start booking more meetings from cold calls immediately. Let's dive into the video. If you're thinking, nah, Christian, cold calling isn't really for me, I'm gonna give you 3 reasons why you cannot afford to not make cold calls. Reason number 1, cold callers have less competition. On average, Fortune 500 executives receive over 100 unsolicited cold emails in their inbox. In other words, their inboxes are full of AI slop and spam emails. And to be honest, they don't read their own emails anymore. They have executive assistants who do that for them and who carefully sort out anything that looks like an external marketing or sales email. And the same goes for LinkedIn. A lot of executive decision makers actually do not accept your connection requests unless they personally know you or you came through referral or a warm introduction. So oftentimes the phone is actually the only channel to get access to decision makers. Let's be honest, most sales reps are scared to make cold calls. They hide behind emails, they hide behind in-mails. Honestly, the majority of sellers would rather jump out of the office window than to make a single cold call. And excuse my language, but allow me to give you the brutal truth. Cold calling is not for pussies. You have to be brave. You have to face the rejection that you're potentially gonna get from prospects on the phone. But that's the very reason why it's so effective. Most people are not willing to do it. Reason number 2, you build trust and rapport faster. Science tells us that 87% of human-to-human communication is nonverbal. So it's not what you say it on the phone, it's how you say it. The best cold callers, they control their tone, their pacing, and even if they have a downward or upward intonation in their sentences. It doesn't matter if you're a 25-year-old SDR speaking to a 50-year-old executive buyer on the phone. If you have the right tone and the right inflection, you can speak to them at an eyes level, like a peer to a peer. That's how you express authority on the phone, and that's how you build trust with executive buyers. And reason number 3 is you can actually do objection handling and discovery directly on the phone. The phone is the only prospecting channel where a real-time conversation happens. And this actually compresses the time that it takes from the first touch point to a prospect to the booked meeting by a lot, which makes the phone the fastest way to book a meeting. The other benefit is that when prospects have objections to your pitch or your value proposition or your problem statement, you can handle those objections right then and there on the phone. Moreover, you can ask discovery questions that actually allow you to disqualify or disqualify this target account, which helps you progress faster through your territory. To be honest, I struggle to come up with any reasons why you shouldn't make cold calls. And so I have 2 goals for this video today. Number 1, I want you to make more cold calls. And 2, I want you to book more meetings from those cold calls. So let's get into my 8-step system that you can implement today. Step number 1, choose the right contact data provider. Let's address the elephant in the room. Your cold calling is only going to be effective if you have a decent pickup rate or a decent connect rate. So the choice of your contact data provider is absolute key. You have to do your due diligence here and compare different vendors. There's a lot of great ones out there, but keep in mind that there are strong geographical differences. So in North America, one vendor might be really good, but there might be others that are better in EMEA versus APAC. This might sound like the responsibility of your sales leadership team or even your RevOps team. But even when I was at Salesforce, I would always test new contact data providers, even sometimes paying for them with my own money, because having the best contact data is such a huge advantage when it comes to cold calling. If you're interested what kind of contact data providers I use, just hit me up in the DMs or comment under this video. Step number 2, effective list building. You cannot have a successful cold calling session without a prospecting list. You should build a list of round about 50 prospects, including their names, titles, contact information, and 3 to 5 bullet points why they should be buying from you in the first place. This requires some preparation time. Personally, what I recommend to all of my coaching clients is block yourself time on Mondays, choose 5 new accounts from your territory and 10 prospects within each account that match your ideal buyer persona. Those are your 50 prospects that you are going to cold call for the week. Run your favorite Claude account research prompt to understand what are the top C-level priorities in this company. And then also look at the individual LinkedIn profiles of the prospects that you're calling to find either some deep commonalities or some posts or LinkedIn engagement that will help you personalize your cold calling opener. Make sure that you obviously track all of this either in your CRM or a simple spreadsheet will also do. Once you have a cold calling list, a prospecting list built and prepared, you're almost halfway there. Step number 3, effective time blocking. Cold calling is like anything else. If it's not blocked in your calendar, it is not going to happen. Make sure that you have at least 2 cold calling blocks scheduled every week, about 60 to 90 minutes each. And make sure also that you communicate this with your team and your manager so that they don't distract you or interrupt you during those calling hours. I always get asked, Christian, when is the best time to make cold calls? And the data is very clear on this. Fridays are by far the best days to book meetings with executive prospects. Why? Because most likely they have fewer meetings and they're looking forward to the weekend. So typically they're in a better mood and they will be more willing to accept a meeting for the following week. In addition, I would also consider Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays either in the early morning before 9 a.m. or the late afternoon after 4:30 or 5 p.m., depending on the working hours in your geography and your industry. But the idea is we want to reach buyers either before they head into their meetings or after they complete the last meeting of the day, because that's when the connect rates are typically the highest. These are the so-called golden hours. So I recommend that you pick 2 blocks, one on Friday and then one on the other days, either early morning or late afternoon. And if you do this consistently from now on, watch your cold call connect rates go up significantly. Step number 4, effective cold call opener. Now that all the preparation, list building, and time blocking is done, let's look at the components of an effective cold calling script. And the first part of any script is your opener. The worst way you could probably possibly open a cold call is something like this. Hey, Michael, how are you this morning? This is Christian from Salesforce. You will sound like the other 99% of snake oil salespeople and telemarketers. I would estimate that you have round about 3 seconds at the beginning of the call for a prospect to decide to either hang up on you or give you another 15 seconds. So make sure that you mention a specific insight that you've gotten from your research on this account and this prospect, because that's how you capture their attention. This could sound something like this. Hey, Michael, this is Christian. We've never spoken before, but I saw that you're currently hiring for an account executive role over at the East Coast. Do you have 60 seconds for me to share the reason why I'm calling? This is what's called a permission-based opener, because I'm asking the prospect for their agreement to give me 60 seconds to share the reason why I'm calling. But what's more important here is that I've pointed out a specific signal or trigger that I have found in my research. And by addressing that, it's clear to them that I did my homework and I'm not just calling them out of the blue. Opening your cold call with an insight from your research will buy you another 15 seconds to land your problem statement, which is the next step. Step number 5, persona-specific problem statement. Your problem statement is probably the most important part of your cold call script. The mistake that most salespeople make is that they want to pitch on the phone. They want to tell the prospect about their features and benefits, why they're a leader in the market, what their unique selling points are, what the ROI is that they can expect from buying from them, and so on and so forth. The problem is that your pitch can be the best elevator pitch in the world, but it's probably going to fall on deaf ears before you have established that the prospect actually has a problem that you can solve. So you should always lead with the problem, never with the pitch. So what you need is a very specific problem description that is going to resonate with this buyer persona that you're calling. Let me give you an example. Hey, Michael. Yeah, thanks. So I speak with VPs of sales every single day. And what they tell me is that their sales teams are currently not generating enough pipeline. And it's because a lot of their customers believe that they can just replace their software solution by vibe coding something in Claude. And their reps seem to be unable to overcome this objection. As a result, they've seen a huge decrease in their self-generated pipeline. Is this a problem that you've come across? A good problem statement has the following structure. Number one, you describe a pain or a symptom that your buyer persona is most likely familiar with. It's something that everybody knows and everybody can observe. Step two, it needs to explain the root causes of this problem. This is the educational piece where you demonstrate to the buyer that you know what you're talking about. And part number three is you need to address the business impact of this problem, because no pain is painful enough if there's no clear impact on revenue, cost, or something like compliance, data security, or risk in general. Business impact is the only reason that creates real urgency for buyers to change. So it has to be in there. If you can nail this formula for your problem statement, prospects cannot help but listen to you, right? They have to. Also, make sure that you finish your problem statement with a validating question. It's important that the prospect agrees that they actually face this problem or that it's at least relevant to them. That gives you the permission to pitch. Step number 6, now comes the value proposition. So if you did a good job with your problem statement, now you have the opportunity to deliver what you might call your pitch. I like to call it my value proposition. But the value proposition still has nothing to do with your product or service or any of the benefits. And it has only to do with the outcome and the result of working with you. Make sure that you combine your value proposition with some KPIs that actually matter to this buyer persona. And also add a little bit of social proof. Maybe name drop some customer references or case studies that might be similar to this prospect. And finally, wrap up your value proposition by asking for the next step. Here's an example. So let's say the prospect says, okay, Christian, how can you help with that? I'll say, sure. So I have specialized in enterprise pipeline generation over the last 5 years. I've trained over 300 sales professionals at companies such as Salesforce, Revenue Grid, Bytes, and Splashtop. And typically, the teams that I train see on average a 120% increase in their pipeline. So they roughly double their pipeline within 8 weeks. Would you be open for me to walk you through my unique approach in, let's say, 15 minutes next week on Thursday? Step number 7, you have to overcome 5 objections. Let me tell you the amount of times that I have booked a meeting from a cold call without receiving a single objection from a prospect. I probably don't even need a full hand. And if that's the case, that you ever book a meeting from a prospect who throws you 0 objections, that smells fishy, right? You can probably expect that the prospect is not going to show up to the meeting. Cold calling research actually shows that on average, we have to overcome 4 to 5 objections on a single call in order to successfully book a meeting with a prospect. And 80% of all objections always fall into the same buckets. I'm not interested, I'm not the right person, I don't have budget, I already have a vendor, send me an email or call me in 6 months. Now here's a simple 3-step framework to handle any objection. Number 1, you agree to the objection. Sounds counterintuitive, but you'll see. Number 2, you give them multiple choice options. And number 3, you incentivize them to take a next step. Let's take the most common objection in the world as an example. I am not interested. Step number 1, Agree to the objection. Haha, yeah, of course. I mean, if you were interested from buying from us, you probably would have called me in the first place. Step number 2, give the multiple choice option. Just so I understand correctly, is it that this problem that I described is not relevant to you right now? Or have you already found a vendor that solves that for you? And step number 3, incentivize the next step. Look, I understand that you're not looking for a new solution right now. Would it be a bad idea if you just walk you through our tool for 15 minutes next Tuesday, just so that you know what your options are next time around this becomes an issue? And now finally, step number 8 of my cold calling framework, your tone and pacing. Did you pay close attention to my voice, tone, and pacing during the examples that I gave you in this video? Like I said earlier, 87% of cold calling success comes down to not what you say, but how you say it. So here are 3 tips to improve what you sound like in order to book more meetings. Tip number 1, slow down. The mistake that most sales reps make is that they're trying to say too much. They're trying to prove to the prospect that they've done all of this research and that they know their problem statement and their value proposition. And so as a result, they speak too fast. But people who speak fast, they subconsciously give away that they're nervous, right? And we want the opposite. We want to show up with authority, and breathing deeply and speaking slowly does just that. Tip number 2, downward inflection. Try not to make your sentences sound like questions. They should sound like statements. So instead of saying, "Hey, is this Michael? This is Christian from Salesforce. Do you have 30 seconds for me?" That is upward inflection. And that gives away nervousness and low status. Try the downward inflection. "Hey, Michael, this is Christian. I'm calling from Salesforce. Do you have 30 seconds for me to share with you why I called?" It just comes away more trustworthy. And tip number 3, stand up and smile. When you actually do your cold call standing, it opens your diaphragm and your voice sounds more powerful. And also, keep attention to yourself that you smile when you make cold calls, because automatically you will sound more friendly. And even though prospects cannot see you on a cold call, they notice how you talk. And when you smile, automatically you sound more likable and trustworthy. That's it, guys. Now you have my 8 tips to make better cold calls and book more meetings from your cold calls starting today. If you have any questions, feedback, or comments on my cold call system, make sure to drop it as a comment under the video. I personally respond to all of the comments under my videos. And please, if you like this video, if you've gotten some value from it, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel, because that helps me so much to bring out more tactical sales trainings like this one every single week. And if you are interested in getting your own cold calling and prospecting and outbound generation skills to the next level, we are actually starting a new outbound cohort in the Quota League in September. So make sure to check out the link in the description under the video if you want to apply for one of the limited spots that we have. I'll see you next week. Take care.